All right. So unfortunately, we had some streaming issues here. We are still going to be uploading the game when it's done. So we're going to join you at the game now in action in the bottom of the first inning. A big three-run first there for the Knights based on a couple of errors from Valley Forge. So this is Paul Miller and Parker Rose here with you today. Again, this is Parker's first game here calling a game, and unfortunately we got off to a rough start, Parker, but we're going to make the best of it.
Absolutely, Professor Mayor. On the mound for the Knights, we got James Taylor, who's also from Australia, who came out of Scotland campus.
Certainly traveled the farthest to be here, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
All right, so we are going to start the bottom of the, or excuse me, the top of the second. Okay, so what's actually going on here is this game actually is lined up as a home game for Valley Forge. So the Knights hit in the top of the first, and the Valley Forge squad will hit at the bottom of the first. So this is not necessarily going to be similar to other home games we've done here at In the Net, because this game was rescheduled from yesterday. Again, you know, we mentioned previously that they had some issues with their field, did Valley Forge, so they postponed the games yesterday, came up here today. So James Taylor here from Australia, trying to get off to a decent start.
And he already got one out recorded for the inning, so it's a good way to get started. Matt batting out for Valley Forge, you got Andre DeCuna, who's a 308 hitter for the season so far.
DeCuna plays third base. There's a shot to the gap. Fulp is going to get there, but not without a single there for DeCuna. Christian Fulp's going to be a guy to keep your eye on here. It's definitely somebody that you want to pay close attention to in terms of an injury he suffered in one of the last games.
It's that heel injury, Professor Miller, and him playing in the outfield, that he's going to be really testing it by running for balls that are in the gap or going deep in the back if hit that far, or has to come up before loopers come in looping in.
We talked to him, and he said he got some treatment prior to the game, so he is pleased with how he feels and is able to give it a go. Coach Stern said if he does have issues during the game, they do have a contingency plan here.
But that shows heart for a player that's willing to play with a little bit of an injury. They definitely have heart for playing for the game.
Well, as a senior here, he knows that every game is one step closer. There's a shot to deep left. Graham looks up, and that is a home run for Rack. Cody Rack. I remember him from last year. Already has 2 doubles on the season. That's his first home run of the season, and that makes it 3-2.
And Cody Rack is the pitcher that's on the mound for Valley Forge. So what a way, after giving up 3 in the top of the inning, come back and put the score in within 1.
As they say, Parker helping his own cause.
Absolutely.
So deep home run there for Rack, and that's going to bring up Espinal. I remember Espinal from last year as well. We called a couple of games. Through 4 games, 0-4. For Valley Forge thus far. Central Penn 3-1 on the young season.
Espinal's batting .231 right now, currently.
A little outside. Peyton Paletti in the starting lineup today for the first time all season. He's seen some action, but the first time he's had a chance to start. So interesting to see what they're going to do in the second game.
And it's good to see Peyton now out behind the plate today. He's on internship right now for his major, so it's good to see him be able to catch for today's game.
So again, we're in the bottom of the first, even though we are technically a home game here. They will be batting as they were the home team, so that might be a little different than maybe what you might be used to. And to be honest, Parker, I'm probably going to have some issues with it as well.
Yeah, But I know we'll figure it out in the end, though. Get it all worked out.
High. Espinal at 231 on the season, 3 hits and 13 at bats, but does lead the team with 6 RBIs. That comes straight back.
The key is for Taylor right now is not let that home run ball get to inside his head. Just finish out this at bat and get some motivation to get it into the top of the second.
And he walks him. So only 1 down for Taylor here. It's going to bring up Thomas Boast to the plate.
He's a 231 hitter. With 4 RBIs. Small takes his lead on first.
Little high there. Cameron, James Taylor really having some tough time finding a strike zone here in the first.
I think it's that the rookie pressure Professor Miller needs to settle in. I know how stressful it could be being your first time pitching at college level.
Strike there. And that is a very good point. This is Taylor's first collegiate game. Listed as a pitcher, so doesn't really see the field much. That's going to be outside. Espinal
going back to first.
Yeah, does not advance there. That's the one thing about this field here in the net, Parker, is that there's not a lot of room right behind home plate. So even if a ball does get away from you, it's not always a guarantee that the runner will advance.
It seems like you need to have a good amount of speed to be able to swipe that base on a wild pitch.
High and tight. So really struggling here is Taylor in the first inning. But it is a beautiful day for baseball here in the net.
Yes, it
Bottom
is.
one, it's 3-2. Knights lead. That's straight back.
Professor Miller sees it straight back into the camera. Espinal's on first. The count was 3-2. Taylor's in his windup, and here's the pitch. Strike on the outside swinging. What a pitch by Taylor. So we got 2 outs in the inning, which brings Zachary Andrews, who is a 364 hitter. He has 1 RBI and 4 hits at 11 at-bats.
Zach Andrews is second on Valley Forge with a 364, just behind Cody Rack's 365 batting average. Tough sledding early on this season.
Good pitch on the outside corner.
0-4 are Valley Forge. Lost 2 to Penn State Hazleton on February the 22nd. Same team that we just beat in 2 games. But again, that was a couple of weeks apart there. So they also played Gallaudet University in Washington, D.C. and lost a pair there back on February 15th. So this is their first game since February 22nd. So maybe, but it doesn't seem like they're rusty at all. And there's a chopper. This is going to be trouble. Taylor does get it to first for the out, and that'll end the inning.
A good play by Taylor.
So 2 runs there for Valley Forge in the bottom of the first. So we're going to go to the top of the second, and that will be Central Penn 3, Valley Forge 2.
Central Penn College, for the 5th straight year, earned the military-friendly school designation. Currently, Central Penn has 55 students who are either veterans or who are active in the military or National Guard. The Student Veterans of America Club is accepting new members. Students must be veterans or active military to join. For more information about the club, contact Student Success Coach and Club Advisor Dan Garissi at 2361. And as a student military service member, I am a member of the Armed Forces Association, and Central Penn College and the Armed Forces Association really do take care of veterans and current military students.
There's also an AFA cookout coming up too, right, Parker?
That is correct. It's coming up on... The date of that is Wednesday, March 11th. It's the first AFA cookout of our season, and it's always a popular event for the club.
Definitely one thing that I do want to make sure that we're pointing out on our game today is about the Biller Family Foundation. The Biller Family Foundation was formed with the intentions of helping to empower youth through sustainable sports funding. The Biller Family Foundation is a public charity founded in 2008 by Jerry Biller II and the Biller family to provide a resource for caring individuals and causes they support, enabling them to make a charitable impact on the community. For more information, please go to their website at the-bff.com for more details.
Now, leading off for the Knights, we got Peyton Paletti.
So again, top of the second here. Again, this is going to be a little more unusual than what you're probably used to with a home game here for the Knights, technically. This is the top of the second inning. We've got Paletti, Fulp, and then back to the top of the order with Dominguez. We'd actually talked on a previous broadcast, Parker, about how we really like the bottom of the order here with Fulp, and then moving right to... So that's going to be a tough one for Espinal, but does make it.
There.
So with Fulp and Dominguez at the bottom of the lineup, you got a lot of speed there at 9 and 1. I like how they changed that aspect of their lineup.
I absolutely agree with you, Professor Miller. If you get speed on base, the potential for stolen bases, or if it's a looper into the field, with Fulp speed, you could probably get from first to second to third. Christian Fulp plays the outfield for the Knights, but he also is a pitcher as well for the Knights, too.
There's a shot to the shortstop, but Fulp really gets out of that box hard, does ground out for the second out of the inning. And we're going to go back to the top of the order here with Dominguez. Dominguez reached base on an error, stole a base, and reached third with another error. A couple of errors there in the first inning that we unfortunately missed. Again, apologize about the streaming issues. Hopefully won't have any more of those throughout the rest of the season. Apparently, and I did not know this, YouTube prevents you from going live a certain number of times in a week, which I found strange.
It's also new to me, Professor Miller. I never would really understood that.
Line to third, but can't come up with it. Can Dominguez beat the throw? And I got to tell you, that play was ridiculously close, but a great catch and stretch by Espinal.
Great play by the third baseman.
All right, well, a quick top of the second. It's still 3-2 Knights as we go to the bottom of the second.
Interested in pursuing a career in business, accounting, marketing, or communications? Central Penn College offers more than 30 career-focused programs in flexible class formats, including in-person, online, and hybrid courses. For more information, visit our website at centralpenn.edu.
One of the things I do find interesting, and when I ask, a lot of times in my classes, Parker, I'll ask about some of the reasons why people came to Central Penn. And I got to tell you, one of the most common things I hear is about the accelerated schedule. Central Penn's year-round accelerated schedule, composed of 4 11-week terms, enables full-time students to earn a bachelor's degree in 3 years. Fast-track your success with our accelerated terms. Parker, you're going to graduate in, what, exactly 3 years?
Yep, I will be. I'm sketched according to Kristen Fike, who's one of our internship career coordinators. I talked to her. She says I should be done anywhere in the fall or winter term, depending on when I do my internship, which I plan on doing hopefully for the fall.
Awesome. Well, we're certainly looking forward to that. So it's 3-2.
Let's see if Taylor has a good bounce back inning since he settled in. He got through the first inning. Let's hopefully he settles in now after getting the pressure of the first inning.
So it's Paul Miller and Parker Rose on the call today. We are in the bottom of the second. Again, this was a rescheduled road game for the Knights.
Now batting for Valley Forge is number 12, Bryant Craig, who is a 125 hitter. Check swing, he held up.
And Craig, 125 on the season. Only 1 hit and 8 at bats thus far. But again, Parker, it's kind of tough to give them too hard of a time. They haven't played since February the 22nd.
That is true, and it's still relatively earlier in the season a bit. Seems like the last couple pitches by Taylor, seems like he's really, and a little bit in the last inning, he's working more of the outside part of the plate. His pitches are really moving out to that side. See Pletty keep stretching out that way.
All right. They had an issue with the on-deck batter there. And that one's high, and that walks him on 4 straight pitches. Does Craig. Next up, Malik Graves, 111 on the season, 1 for 9. So definitely not ideal. Getting the signs here from the coach.
Let's see what Valley Forge does with the runner on first. Bunt sign.
Taylor misses again. Now he does have the 1-run lead at this point. But Taylor has struggled to find the plate. And that's outside, and that gets to the backstop. Wild pitch for Taylor.
It looks like Coach Stern's going to go out and talk to his pitcher, trying to calm him down.
And this is a situation that really shows what a coach has. We do have some potential pitchers. We haven't seen Michael Pico this year. We haven't seen pretty much the rest of the pitchers we have seen at this point. So I'm interested to see who actually Coach Bob Stern has to pitch game 2 here today. Hayden Fox pitched a week ago and dominated. You'd think that would at least be an option.
Definitely had that momentum carrying from last week, but it looks like Coach Stern just wants to talk to his pitcher, try to calm him down and see what the rest of this inning goes for the Knights.
High and outside. 2 balls, 1 strike here in the bottom of the second. 3-2 Central Penn. Nice sized crowd here today in the net in Palmyra.
And I think that's one of the advantages, Professor Miller. Even though this is considered a road game for the Knights, I think the home crowd's going to play a factor being here to get the Knights motivated to hopefully get a victory today.
Squares again.
Walked him.
And walked him.
I keep noticing that Taylor's pitches keep going to the outside part of the plate. Having a hard time pinpointing his location to the right-handed batters.
It's going to bring up Mendoza. Looks like this is Mendoza's first action of the season. Pardon me, this is Adriel Menendez from Philadelphia.
He's batting under 100. He has 4 strikeouts.
And they're going to try to bunt again, but I guess to do that, they're going to look for a strike. Unfortunately, they haven't seen too many of those.
It looks like Coach Stern is symboling to something in the dugout. Professor, would you consider start getting someone warmed up right now?
Oh, absolutely.
And Taylor keeps pinpointing that outside. It seems like he's having a hard time finding his location. There's a strike.
Does get that one to cross the plate. Back to a 2-1 count. With runners on first and second, nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning. Bunting again. Rosario's only out's going to be to first base.
That puts runners on second and third for Valley Forge. So 2 in scoring position.
And back to the top of the order for Kromyak. He's from... We've been playing Pennsylvania geography on the last couple of broadcasts, trying to figure out where some of these players are from. A lot of Pennsylvania, but on Valley Forge's team, you've got Malik Graves from North Carolina, you've got Aaron Rivera from Gainesville, Florida, you've got DeCuna from San Francisco, California, Delaware, Ohio, New Jersey. In fact, Valley Forge only has 2 people from Pennsylvania. Which I found odd.
I'm very familiar with Matthew Chromiak, Professor Mill. He's actually from Schuylkill County. He went to Nativity Heights VVM, which is the Catholic school back home. So I'm familiar with Matthew Chromiak.
And how do you pronounce where he's from?
He is from Kumbola, Pennsylvania.
Okay, gotcha. And that's one of the advantages that we have with you and Brian, because you're from the Schuylkill County area. You know a lot of the players from up that way.
That is correct. I actually remember reading in the paper when Matthew Chromiak signed with Valley Forge to play baseball.
And Valley Forge has had a good program for many years.
There's
Big cut there.
And actually looking at my stats, Matthew Chromiak's actually one of Valley Forge's pitchers as well. So possibility if they need some relief or for the next game in the doubleheader.
Hi there. Runs the count full, runners on second and third, and you don't want to let him go.
No, this is a key batter here, Professor Miller. I think if he loses this one,
And he walks the bases loaded.
That's 3 walks this inning for Taylor.
It's going to bring up DeCuna, who singled and scored on the rack home run.
I'm looking now over in the field. It looks like there is a pitcher warming up. Is that Max Thorpe, Professor Miller, number 7?
Yes, it is. Max Thorpe, the senior, warming up.
Despite the bases being loaded, Taylor is only a double play to get out of this inning.
That's very true.
Without any runs surrendered. So let's see if he could get the ball down enough that DeCuna hits a ground ball.
And there is that ground ball, and it's going to be a 2-for-1. Dominguez on to first for the double play, and that will retire the side. Even with loading the bases, they didn't push anybody across, and that exciting double play, that's going to send us to the top of the third inning with Central Penn up 3-2.
Hey, Professor Miller, as a professor at Central Penn College, did you know that Central Penn College has a no-fee application? Unlike some institutions, Central Penn doesn't charge any type of fee for applying. It is absolutely free. Go to our website, centralpenn.edu, to apply.
Interestingly enough, and if you know me, you know that I'm a glutton for self-promotion. The second movie of 2020 in the CPC film series will be A League of Their Own. You can catch this fictional account of the All-American Girls Professional Baseball League, starring Tom Hanks, Gina Davis, Madonna, and Lori Petty, on Friday, April 24th at 6 o'clock in the Capitol Blue Cross Theater. I will give a brief talk about the film, and I will give you a spoiler, Parker. It will all be about baseball. It will be a baseball presentation about Some surprises. I haven't quite put it together yet, but I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be our Nightly News Media Club fundraiser for the term. And we're going to have food. We're going to get subs and soups. And we invite you to come down, just make a donation to the club, and we'll have dinner for you. Come down, check out the movie for free. So nothing like, a night on the town for just a donation to the Nightly News Media Club.
Absolutely, and I will say, A League of Our Own is an amazing baseball movie. Favorite line for that movie, there is no crying in baseball.
And you may have sort of a preview to what my presentation will be about there, Parker. I'm definitely going to focus on that line particularly. I will tell you that I'm going to do everything I can to get some of the baseball players there as well. Maybe do a little Central Penn autograph signing for some kids if the kiddos show up. We definitely look forward to that. And their first pitch swinging is Christian Lara.
That was a big cut by Lara there, too.
Lara struck out in the first. And the pitch, he's going to bunt.
And the ump calls it foul.
Interesting call. I didn't quite see that, but Lara will get another shot. Lara has played well so far this season. Definitely a nice addition to the top of our order. 2 RBIs in a game against Penn State Schuylkill on opening day.
Ooh, inside.
One thing I did want to do today, Parker, is go over some of the games that Central Penn has had. So we've had 2 doubleheaders thus far at home. We've got this game at home. We're going to play our first 8 games of the season here in the net. Really a good chance for the Knights to get off on a good start, and as Lara unfortunately strikes out to bring up Connor Graham and Chris Rosario. Interestingly enough, to start the season, our first game of the season against Penn State Schuylkill here last Sunday. The story, Hayden Fox. Complete game, 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, and 13 strikeouts. So a tremendous effort from Hayden Fox on opening day. And, of course, Connor Graham with a home run in the opening game of the season.
Just ready to say, Professor Miller, Connor Graham is batting with a hot bat.
Big cut there from Graham. Can't connect.
Definitely a good time to get him on base to bring Rosario up to the plate, because Rosario is definitely a home run threat, as well as Graham.
So the second game of the season last Sunday, we did unfortunately lose to Penn State Schuylkill 5-4 in that contest. However, Christian Falk did allow 5 runs early in the game, but settled down to blank them the rest of the time. The Knights followed suit by putting 1 up in the 6th and 2 in the 7th, and we were a Connor Graham 3-run home run away from winning that game. Connor unfortunately did not do that, did not hit a home run that game, and unfortunately struck out there. But that ran us to 1-1. Coming back on Wednesday of this last week against Penn State, Hazleton swept both of a doubleheader 4-3 and then 10-2.
Oh,
And the catcher took the worst of that. The story in game 1, without a doubt, Connor Graham again. Graham hits the 3-run home run to give the Knights the 4-2 lead, and they would go on to win 4-3. Ryan Stevens, a complete game with 3 earned runs and 7 strikeouts.
and speaking of 3 runs, Professor Miller, it seems like since that first inning, Cody Rack, the pitcher of Valley Forge, seemed to be settling in. This inning, he back-to-back strikeouts, and last inning, he had an easily scoreless past second inning.
Retired the last 6 consecutive Central Penn Knight hitters. Our final game that we want to talk about is that 10-2 victory. Started off early with 5. Another home run from, this time, Hayden Fox. Graham with a big 2 RBI double in that game as well. And really the story there was Zach Boyer. Boyer was the player of the game, going 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs, and then came on to strike out the final 6 batters from Penn State Hazleton, pick up his first save. So Boyer there showing his efforts early on in the year. That one inside to Rosario.
That's one thing I noticed in the box score, Professor Miller. It seems like a lot of our pitchers this year really like the strikeout ball rather than using their infield. They're using their pitching to establish their points at the plate.
Rack inside there on that offering. Again, has retired the last 6 nights, but Rosario singled.
And as well as came around the score on the balk.
Rosario is probably, he would tell you, has had a slow start to the season.
Ooh,
and just as I say that, he sends a drive down to the left field line. That's going to go all the way to the wall.
For 2.
Rosario into second with a stand-up double.
Good hit off. Good connect. Good contact by Rosario.
Top 3 here. Again, this is a rescheduled game from Saturday, which was to be a home game for Valley Forge.
Looking at the stat sheet, Professor, this part of the lineup is the part of the lineup that gave Rack trouble in the first inning. So let's see if the Knights could get some more insurance.
Gets that call on the outside half. Boyer walked and scored. Just talking about his amazing efforts in the last game. And that's inside. Foul ball there. Beautiful day here in the net, mid-60s. Very, very unseasonably warm weather so far, at least in the games that we've been here. Supposed to be very nice this week as well.
Tomorrow it's supposed to almost be 70 degrees tomorrow, Professor Miller.
And he takes that foul off his hip.
Let's hope he's okay after that contact. Seems to be walking off. He seems to be okay, which is a good sign.
Well, Parker, one thing I did want to bring up while we have the opportunity is you just finished up Hide and Seek Mirror Mirror, the 6th annual student-devised theater production.
Yes, we did, Professor Miller.
How would you say that it went overall?
I thought the show went really well. Shout out to all the cast members. That we had a mix between returning members, including Marnie Baker, Nada Shalal, and we also had 2 new actors who had history of theater when they were in high school, Legia Stern and Janelle Dulac. So I think that chemistry built together with the newer students as well as veteran students in the college helped us shape to make a very good play.
Big cut. And that retires the side, so he does strike out the side, does Rack. Not after a double, but Chris Rosario left on second, and we will go to the bottom of the 3rd, and it's still Central Penn 3, Valley Forge 2.
Interested in a healthcare career? Central Penn offers 2-year programs in physical therapist assistant, occupational therapy assistant, and medical assisting, as well as a bachelor's program in healthcare management. For more information, visit our website at centralpenn.edu.
Big alumni night coming up with the Harrisburg Senators. It's going to be on Friday, June 12th, as the Senators take on the Erie Seawolves. The alumni picnic will be from 6 to 8 p.m., and that includes hamburgers, hot dogs, barbecue chicken, baked beans, mac and cheese, coleslaw, and a lot of other picnic favorites. Tickets are $17 for ages 13 and up, and $6 for the kids from 4 to 12, as well as members of the Golden Knights Society. You can always check out alumni events on the website. And for this and other upcoming events, go to centralpenn.edu/alumni-events. So definitely looking forward to getting that opportunity to go and have some fun with the Senators.
Absolutely. It's always fun to spend time at the ballpark. It seems like Taylor's coming up for another inning, Professor Miller, after that shaky last inning.
Well, he did get out of it, which you got to give him credit.
That is true.
For getting out of the jam that he got himself into through the walks. But, you know, I got to tell you, Coach Bob Stern does have a relatively long leash, I would say. That said, you know, with the amount of walks that Taylor has given up at this point, for 4 total walks to 1 strikeout, also that home run to Rack, you wonder how long he's going to let him go here. You know, he still has the lead, though, so that's the important thing to remember.
Think the one thing with Coach Stern, he has a lot of faith in his young pitchers. Like I said, this is his first game pitching at the collegiate level, so maybe he's still a little shaky with that, but I think Taylor's going to be a good asset to the pitching rotation for the Knights.
Another beautiful day in the net in Palmyra. It's Paul Miller and Parker Rose here again. Sorry we had some issues with the stream, but definitely glad that you're watching today.
That was a nice breaking ball there by Taylor. It called in for a strike.
I think that was a big pitch for Taylor there to have to start off here. Had some trouble even warming up, as I'm sure you saw. Nice off-speed pitch. I do notice that Taylor already is starting to mix in that off-speed. He didn't throw a lot of off-speed in the first couple of innings.
Yeah, it seems like he was going strictly with the fastball, Professor Miller.
And maybe he's going to that secondary pitch and hoping he can locate that a little bit better. There's a fastball on the outside half, but just outside.
I think Taylor really likes pinpointing his pitches out that way. That's where I noticed that a lot of the at-bats, and because of his walks, is because the pitch was located out there.
And there's a shot to Dominguez. Can't quite get there. Does he have the arm? Yes, he does. What a play by Dominguez. Kept it in front of him. He's got a cannon. It's short. And I got to tell you, so far in the season, it's tough because there's so many great new players. But you got to say that Alex Dominguez looks as good as anybody early on in the season for the young crop of freshmen brought in by Coach Stern.
Absolutely. Good play by the shortstop.
We're in the bottom of the third here. And that one did not quite register. So ball 1 there. Espinal up to the plate. I remember Espinal from last year. He actually pitched one of the games we played against Valley Forge at home. We were over on field 2.
Yep, and Valley Forge has him on his line score right now. He has a 5.40 ERA and he's 0 for 2 for the year, where he pitched 11 2/3 of an inning, no saves, and he has 15 strikeouts on 8 walks.
And Taylor, straight back up the middle. That'll be a single for Espinal. Fulk gets it back in.
So Espinal reached base twice now today.
Once with a walk and once with a single. And that one's outside. Taylor shakes his head.
Sensing some frustration, Professor Miller, right now. Taylor can't show the frustration. He needs to focus on the batter and try to get out of this inning.
And that's outside, and Espinal breaks for second. Paletti, the gun, and he gets in there on a wild pitch.
Still don't see no signs in the field of any pitchers warming up yet, Professor Miller.
Looks like Max is down in the bullpen to potentially come in. Big cut there from Boast. And outside. Thomas Boast from Stryker, Ohio. He's a freshman. Almost all freshmen and or seniors here. One sophomore. Big cut there from Boast. Another good off-speed offering there from Taylor. And
Good
he
pitch.
struck him out looking. And
Reached
that
the
is 2 down.
That's a big strikeout for Taylor there.
Zach Andrews from Uniontown, Ohio here at 6'3", 250 is the listed height and weight for Mr. Andrews. Zach Andrews hitting 364 on the season coming into today. 4 hits and 11 at-bats. Hadn't homered and had 1 RBI. Was hit by a pitch and walked twice. Has an on-base percentage of .500.
Very impressive.
And that's outside. Espinal breaks
go.
for third.
But
And he is going to...
Oh,
what a play. What a play. I would say that was very close.
I actually thought at first, Professor Mill, they got him at third.
It looked to me like they got him, but again, the umpire has a much better perspective than I do, even though I am in the press box. So a tough call for the Knights. Espinal gets to third.
Taylor shakes his head again. Taylor gets his sign. He's in his windup. Pitch down. Outside, and he walks. He walks Andrews. So runners at first and third, 2 outs. Knights are still holding on to a 3-2 lead. Now that brings Brian Craig to the plate. Craig was walked in his first at bat.
Big strike there.
Oh, well, they got caught in the rundown, Professor Miller.
And Espinal breaks for home, and he's going to be gone. What a play there by Paletti. That was a very interesting call for Espinal to get thrown out there at the plate.
Taylor escapes another threatening inning by Valley Forge, but no harm done as the Knights still have a 3-2 lead.
All right, well, that's going to do it for the bottom of the third. We're going to move to the top of the fourth here, and that's, as Parker mentioned, 3-2.
Are you involved in fundraising? If so, you don't want to miss this free workshop, How to Get Your Board to Fundraise. Join Master Trainer Chad Barger for a discussion on the importance of maximizing the impact of your board members. This free event occurs on Monday, April 27th at 10:30 a.m. and it goes till noon at the Lancaster Center.
We'll see Stevens, Humes, and Paletti here in the top of the fourth inning. Remember, we will be playing 2 here today, 2 7-inning contests.
Cody Rack's back out on the mound for Valley Forge, where he has a total of 5 strikeouts.
Again, wanted to thank the Biller Family Foundation, formed with the intentions of helping to empower youth through sustainable sports funding. Founded in 2008 by Jerry Biller II and the Biller family, to provide a resource for caring individuals about causes they support, enabling them to make a charitable impact on the community. The Biller Family Foundation helps create permanent charitable funds of everlasting impact. But for more information, go to the Biller Family Foundation website at the-bff.com for more details. And I must tell you, Parker, that frankly, it's the Biller Family Foundation that's why we are here today. I always want to make sure that they get a shout out to all the wonderful things that they've helped provide the Nightly News Media Club in terms of equipment. Again, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. So
I absolutely agree with you, Professor. Big thanks to them.
we will go to the top of the 4th inning here. Again, Stevens, Humes, and Paletti up. And Stevens chops that one to third. That one's going to be foul.
Stevens did reach on a single his last at bat.
And Stevens has hit quite well. When we back to opening day,
Goes down swinging.
Stevens was 3 for 3 on the opening day, so he's been hitting pretty well. 1 for 3 in the second game. And definitely got the win in one of the games and then came right back. The following game he had off. So far on the season, he's hit very well. And we're glad to see that he's one of the new bright spots. Dominique Humes here. Humes is from Decatur, Georgia. I'd made a comment earlier, and that one's foul, and that's headed right toward my car. Fortunately, I'm down there in good ways. I don't know if it's going to make it. We actually said on one of the opening day games when Humes got up to bat that he came almost as far as anybody to be here today without, of course, taking into consideration his teammate, James Taylor, who is here from, as you mentioned, Australia. It's going to be low for a ball.
And Professor Miller, you made the comment about him being from Georgia and Taylor being from Australia. I think it's good for the baseball program to be able to expand the program to across the world to get students all around the world.
Absolutely.
To bring to college.
And that one was nearly behind Humes there. Paul Miller and Parker Rose with you on the call today. Again, a rescheduled game from yesterday in which Valley Forge is the home team. And Humes calls time.
Another ball. Count is 3-2 though. Humes, no runners on with 1 out. And Rack walks Humes. So the Knights get a runner on with 1 out. And that will bring Christian Fulp to the plate. I'm sorry, correction. That'll bring Peyton Paletti to the plate, not Christian Fulp.
Yeah, we'll see Paletti up next, and then Fulp on deck. You've got Stevens started off the inning with a strikeout, and Humes drew the walk. To your point, Parker, I got to give, other than that double from Rosario.
And it looks like Humes is being taken out for a pitch runner, Professor Miller. It's on...
That looks like Brian Rodriguez.
Number 57.
Yeah, Rodriguez has had several steals in his first couple of games. Interested to see. We are in the 4th, so
it's good to get him on the base to try to hopefully get second base to hopefully get a runner in scoring position with 1 out.
So I wonder if Rodriguez is going to be the new designated hitter. We will see. But Rodriguez can run. I'm telling you, he's up there with.
He's going.
And on the first pitch he goes, and it was a good throw, but they still cannot get it. That'll be a stolen base for Rodriguez. Brian Rodriguez from Philadelphia went to the Esperanza Academy Charter in Philadelphia. Couple of injury notes. Jared Rivera was scratched today with a back injury. Hopefully Rivera will be better for Wednesday's contest. Christian Fulp, obviously in the lineup, had a pretty bad sprained ankle scoring on a sacrifice fly. He's in there, and he seems like he's good to go. He had last time when he did ground out, he did run to first, and he looked pretty good on the way down. So we're hoping that those are going well. Check swing strike from Paletti. Definitely had some injury issues last season for the Knights, from Freddie Barr suffering an early season broken arm. Nice to see Freddie back at a big double at the game on Wednesday night.
It's a big at bat for Paletti. Hopefully get one in the field.
That's going to go
send the runner over the third.
Straight back for Paletti.
Or even better, try to get the runner home.
And Rodriguez is on second, and he's taking a decent lead. They're going to keep an eye on him. And the big strike, and that will strike him out. The second strikeout for Rack here in the second inning. He's got 6 total on the day. And Christian Fulp takes the steps in the batter's box, 0 for 1 on the day. Ball on the inside half.
A little bit about Christian Fulp. He's one of our co-presidents. He's one of the co-presidents of the Nightly News Media Club.
Fulp does have a hit on the season in the last game, or the first game of last Wednesday's doubleheader. Probably not where he would like to be in terms of offensively, but he's definitely brings not only senior leadership. He's one of the front-end guys in our rotation and plays in a fantastic center field. And that's going to be outside. That's going to be a 3-0 count.
What do you think, Professor? Do you think Coach Stern's going to give Christian the green light here, or do you think he's going to take?
I would think he would take here. Especially with the runner in scoring position, you want to get your pitch at 3-1.
I couldn't agree any more with you. And he walked him on 4 straight pitches.
And, you know, that might have been one of the old intentional walks there, too, to put the double play back in order with, well, not necessarily double play with 2 down, but any base. And Dominguez steps in 0 for 2 on the day. Or excuse me, 0 for 1 on the day. He reached base in the first on an error, stole, and scored. So we got some speed. We had a number of... Rodriguez breaks for third, and he is in there.
And Fulp went to second, so that puts 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs.
Looks like so that'll be a passed ball on the catcher there.
Pressure on for Dominguez. Got to go for a base hit here to try to add some more runs for the Knights.
So now there's no force outs. That was a big play for Central Penn. High and tight. Rack struggling thus far. He has pitched well, but now has gotten himself into some trouble here in the top of the 4th. Curveball across for the strike. Interesting that Rock is from up your way there, Parker. Mm-hmm. Did you recognize the name? You said that you knew him from, at least knew of him when you were in high school.
I did know of Chromiak.
Okay, that's right.
Not Cody Rack. Cody Rack's actually from Florida, Professor Miller.
Gotcha. That's right. 2 people from PA.
And I also am very familiar with the catcher for the Knights, Peyton Paletti. He lives in Schuylkill County.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that
Dominguez, the shot!
That's going to probably possibly bring home 2 runs for the Knights.
And Fulp is going to be in standing up. So Rodriguez scores, Fulp scores, and Dominguez gets thrown out at second.
So Crennan with the single and 2 RBIs there.
Interesting that he got thrown out at second, but both runs do count. But he's thrown out at second base. All right, well, the Knights do play 2, and that's going to run the score to 5-2 as we go to the bottom of the 4th.
Central Penn College will host Let Our Success Be Your Success on Thursday, March 12th, 6 to 7:30 p.m. at the Lancaster Center. At the event, you will meet a panel of Central Penn graduates and learn how a degree has changed their lives and how it might impact yours. The Lancaster Center is located on 1905 Old Philadelphia Pike in Lancaster.
Keep an eye out for the upcoming Family Flick series. Again, we talked earlier about the CPC film series. The Family Flick series is free popcorn, free movies. Great opportunity on Saturday, March 21st from 2 to 4. This time, it's going to be Frozen 2. People always give me kind of funny looks because I've never seen the Frozen movies. I don't know if you've ever seen them.
I actually seen both of them, and I thought they were very good, both of them.
So that will be on Saturday, March the 21st from 2 to 4 in the Capitol Blue Cross Theater.
We're having Taylor come in pitching for another inning as he's taking his warm-up pitches. Taylor did walk a lot of batters today, but he only allowed the 2 runs, so it's good to see him come back again for another inning. Now batting for Valley Forge, we got Brian Craig. Craig, his last time up, he was walked. And the first pitch by Taylor is high and outside for a ball.
Pleasure to have the opportunity to call this game with you here, Parker. It's Paul Miller and Parker Rose. Parker's the nightly news secretary.
I'm enjoying myself calling this game, Professor Miller. It's my first time calling the game, and it's very exciting to be in the booth.
We've got another game coming up here at 6:30. Hopefully, we will not have some tech issues, but we're going to do the best we can with what we have. And we will still have these games available on demand. I guess in this case, it would be the old tape delay.
I was just mentioning, Professor Miller, it's good to see Taylor's back out for another inning despite all the walks. It seems like he's settling in a little bit more after that first at-bat.
Yeah, I got to tell you, this is very similar to kind of what happened to Christian. Christian had a rough first 2 innings and then got back on and blanked Penn State Schuylkill on opening day.
But like I said, though, you want to have faith in your pitching staff. I think Taylor maybe had some conversation in the dugout and helped settle him in a bit.
What a pitch there.
That's a nice breaking ball.
Gorgeous curve. And that's definitely part of the reason why that he has gotten a rotation spot here for the Knights. That one's going to be outside. Or as Bob Uecker would say, just a bit outside.
What a great movie.
You know, it's funny, I had a lot of people ask me, so The League of Their Own, my favorite baseball movie is actually Major League.
Couldn't agree any more with you, Professor Miller.
But I did an R-rated movie previously, and I really want to have some of the kids. I coach Challenger Baseball, and I really want to have some of the kids come down to the League of Their Own. So I really wanted to go with a more family-friendly movie. And
the thing with League of Our Own, Professor Miller, it's actually a history lesson, too, because I remember I took a honors history class in my high school, and we had to watch 3 movies for our summer assignment, and one of the movies was A League of Our Own.
I'm actually really looking forward to it. I mean, I love the movie, don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan. I mean, obviously to the point where I selected it. And I'm going to give everyone a sort of a little history lesson about the league, but we're also going to talk about baseball in general. So I'm really looking forward to that. Big strike right there. Fastball. James Taylor definitely looking like he is much better off the second time through the order.
And he walks.
Graves does draw the walk there. That was a tough at-bat, though.
It looks like Bob Stern's coming out. I think we're going to have a pitching change.
So bottom of the fourth.
As well, a catching change, too.
So they're going to do a double switch, it appears. Finke will enter as the catcher.
And you got Max Thorpe, the senior business student from Michigan, will be taking the mound for the Knights.
So the final line on Taylor will be 3 1/3 innings, 2 runs, but does inherit the runner on first base as well. So that runner is his.
As Thorpe is taking his warm-up pitches, on deck for Valley Forge, we have Adrian Menendez. And like Professor Miller mentioned, Taylor is responsible for the runner on first. So let's see if Thorpe coming in for release, could get the ground out, get the double play to end the inning.
The Learning Center at Central Penn College offers free tutoring in a variety of subjects, both on-ground and online students. Subjects tutored include writing, math, accounting, and anatomy. The Learning Center is located on the 3rd floor of the A-Tech building and is open during class hours, including evenings. Look for more information about the Learning Center under the Student Resources tab on Blackboard, or email learningcenter@centralpenn.edu to find out how to get help from a tutor. That's another one of your many jobs that you have, Parker, is working up in the Learning Center. What comment would you have for people who, especially this time of the term, are looking to maybe catch back up in some of their courses?
I definitely would, especially this is usually the time of the season where we're very busy at Central Penn Learning Center. A lot of students come in because a lot of the professors that are in the English department, like in College 102, you have to do that big research paper. So we have a lot of good tutors in the Learning Center. Megan Ream and Alina Griffiths, who are writing tutors, will gladly help you, guide you in the right direction to get that A you want. Everybody wants to get on their paper.
So we are here at In the Net in Palmyra for the Knights and Valley Forge. Knights lead 5-2. Taylor is he's gonna take a no decision here either way, because he only pitched 3 1/3 and can't lose the game. So this game is Max Thorpe's to win or lose here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Runner goes, but a hit and run on there with Menendez.
In the last half inning for the Knights at the plate batting, had some insurance runs that could give Thorpe a little bit of some support to work with.
So you are a Philadelphia Phillies fan, and I'm sure that, Parker, you're looking forward to going to the College Series event that you're going to be going to on April 7th.
I am more than excited to go to the College Series, Professor Miller. I liked when we went down last year, was able to talk to Tom McCarthy and a lot more members of the Phillies organization, as well to enjoy my first cheesesteak down in Philadelphia.
Yeah, we Tony Luke's cheesesteaks, which if you haven't had them, they're out of this world.
And besides that, it was a great game for the Phils. Was able to...
Oh, they killed the Cubs, man.
Matt.
Back up the box, Dominguez. So it went off Thorpe's glove. Dominguez tried to barehand it, but probably made the right decision there. So no outs. That's going to be scored a base hit there for Menendez.
Give Thorpe credit there. That would have been a great play if he was able to get a grab on it. Those are always tough plays when they come back at you like that. 1
down. Runners on first and second here for Kromyak. Big
pitch
cut
by Thorpe.
Interesting to take a look at Max Thorpe's stats from last year. So Max pitched 2 games for a total of 6.2 innings and had a ERA of 13.5, only 3 strikeouts with a 4.05 K per 9 last season. Didn't get a whole lot of opportunity to pitch. Did come in relief in a couple of games. Didn't start any. So he's a good reliever out of the pen.
He struck him out on 3 straight pitches. Good pitching matchup against there for Max Thorpe as he gets his first strikeout.
So Kromyak down on strikes. That gives us 2 outs. And DeCuna comes up to the plate. Hitting .308 on the season. 4 hits and 13 at-bats. And he's 1 for 1 on the day. Singled and scored in the first. Hit into a fielder's choice to end the inning in the second. And Thorpe, this game is his to win or lose here.
One thing I noticed throughout as the game went on, Professor Miller, it seems like the Knights do a really good job locking down when Valley Forge has runners in scoring position, too.
Well, definitely Taylor got out of that bases loaded jam early.
He got out of a lot of jams when they had runners in scoring position. It seems like that's the thing for the Knights for this game. Thorpe has the 3-1 count.
That is very true. So Taylor had people on base all 3 innings. And they're keeping an eye on Graves. That one's going to be outside, and that's going to walk the bases loaded. As Graves moves down to third, Menendez to second, and DeCuna with a walk for Cody Rack.
And let's remember, Cody Rack had that 2-run homer that put Valley Forge on the board. They have the bases loaded, so...
Not who you want to see in this circumstance, that's for sure.
He'll also be helping his own cause, too, because he's also the pitcher for today's game as well for Valley Forge.
Good first pitch strike there from Thorpe. And Thorpe, curveball.
It looked like Thorpe wanted that pitch there. He singled that, like, ooh. It's a good pitch, but the ump says just a bit inside.
Outside, gets away from Finke. Remember, new catcher here as well. It's going to run the count to 2-1, and nowhere to put these batters with Espinal on deck. Espinal, the team leader, with 6 RBI coming into today. And still, even after Rack's home run earlier, still in first, as that's only 4 for Rack. Big sequence here. And that is deep, but foul. That would have scored at least 1 run, but just foul by a couple of feet.
I think we had a little bit of a sigh of relief from the crowd there, Professor Miller.
Got around on that pretty good. But if nothing else, at least there are now 2 strikes. That'll be a 2-2 count. And Thorpe moves quickly.
Ooh.
Just low. It is a little tough from the press box to see. It's easy to see the left, right, and the high side, but it's not easy to see the low side. So maybe that pitch may have been either really close or not close at all.
Yeah, from
way outside. Doesn't need to do anything because that walk will walk in a run. Graves will score. So 2 straight walks after a strikeout from Thorpe. Still leave the bases loaded with 2 down for Espinal. Again, remember, Espinal leads the team in RBIs, hitting .231 on the season, walked and singled. And there's a shot. They were playing Espinal as a dead pull. At least Connor Graham was shaded towards center. Fulp a little, almost straight on. And then the right fielder's playing. There's a lot of room there along the foul line. Espinal.
Another pull to foul. All right, Thorpe needs to lock down here. Cannot afford to lose him.
This guy kind of reminds me of Big Papi. He's got a swing really like Ortiz if you watch him swing.
Ooh, check. Swing turns into a foul.
That could have been dangerous for the guy on deck. Fortunately, didn't get over that far. It's got to be tough when there's a lefty. You really have to be paying attention when you are on that on-deck circle. In fact, the on-deck areas here are odd. High. Thorpe has really got to make sure at this point, with it being 5-3 now, basically any hit to the outfield could tie this ball game up here with 2 down. And low.
Looks like Thorpe wanted that pitch too, from the facial expression on the mound.
And there's a deep drive. Fulp goes back. Is he going to get under it? He does. And that is huge play to Rosario the side from with that deep fly from Espinal. They do push across 1, but again, leave the bases loaded. And we're going to go to the top of the 5th inning, and it is Central Penn 5, Valley Forge 3.
Career Service invites you to a fun and exciting event for students, alumni, employers, faculty, and staff during the spring term on April 29th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. They will be celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Career Resources Center on the Summerdale campus. There will be lots of free food, drink, and door prizes. For information about our events, stop by the Career Resource Center in room 53 of Bollinger Hall, or email us at careerservices@centralpenn.edu.
You know, one of the things that I really enjoy is the fact that I get to work with Steve Hassinger and Kristen Fike in Career Services, as well as our broadcast partner in crime here, Tyler Coleman, who is also employed part-time by the Career Services office, which he enjoys very much. So definitely, to be perfectly honest with you, students out there, you really have to make sure that you're working with Career Services. It's not just help with the resume. It's also networking events, job fairs, mock interviews, free clothing that they have, new and gently used professional clothing available. They not only will set you up with a custom fitting, trying to find clothes that will fit you, and if they don't, they will also provide you with a gift card to a local community aid to go get some professional clothing. So there's no reason why you shouldn't have a considerable closet before you leave Central Penn of professional clothes. So definitely a point that I wanted to bring up. All right, we're going to go to the top of the 5th. And this is exactly the situation that you want if you're a Central Penn fan here. So we are going to see a new player here. Number 19, Gonzalez, in his first at bat for the Knights. He's a middle infielder. And he has a shot. And that's going to be a base hit. Squirts into right. Gonzalez takes a big wide turn there. So Gonzalez with the single. Which brings up the heart of the order for the Knights. Connor Graham, Chris Rosario. And Graham, a shot to deep. Right center field. That's off the wall. Connor Graham will get in with a stand-up double. Gonzalez coming for home. Poor throw, and Gonzalez will score. Graham, the double, the RBI.
That's a big hit for Connor Graham, helping Max Thorpe on the mound by bringing that run back that Valley Forge got in the last half inning.
Tremendous shot from Connor Graham, the double to the right center field gap, and now the coach for Valley Forge going to take one of those mound visits. Well, that gives us a chance, Parker, to talk about why we're all here today, and that's the Nightly News Media Club.
Yep.
We offer an online newspaper, quarterly publication, weekly podcasts, weeks 1 through 8 of the term, and paid positions with our sports broadcast team. We'll be meeting this Thursday if you want to find out what we're all about in ATEC 204 from noon to 1, and we'll have a ton of really good food. Everybody wants fried chicken and macaroni and cheese for some reason, so that's what I'll get for them today, or on Thursday, and we'll probably have a few pizzas too. If you want to learn more about the nightly news, email me, Palmyra at centralpenn.edu. I'm the club advisor, and I'd be happy to chat with you. There is a deep shot, Rosario! And that is out of here!
Gone, see ya. What a shot by Rosario that opens up the lead for the Knights.
What a back-to-back turn of events, frankly. The home run from Chris Rosario, his first on the season. And he gets greeted from his teammates.
What a shot.
Maybe he heard what I'd said, that he was he's a little cold to start the season. Definitely not the case anymore. That 2-run dinger.
We got smiles from Thorpe and Taylor, the 2 pitchers in the game today from that.
That brings us now to 8-3.
It looks like we got a pitching change for Valley Forge after the 2-run home run.
So Rack will leave the game with 4 innings pitched. He did, and the bases are now clear, so he allowed 8 earned runs. Looked like he had really turned it around there for a couple of innings in the second and third, Parker, and then gave 2 up in the fourth and 3 in 3 consecutive batters here in the 5th.
Yeah, it looks like Valley Forge is going to turn the ball over to Adriel Menendez, who has a 14 ERA. He has 1 appearance.
He had 2 innings pitched and gave up 4 earned runs.
As well as 5 walks, Professor Miller.
We're going to have to keep an eye out on that. All smiles for the Knights here with an 8-3 lead. You know, we were talking about career services. Something else that they do that really want to make sure you keep on your radar, Parker. Career Services invites you to a fun and exciting event for students, alumni, employers, faculty, and staff during our spring term. On June 10th from 8:30 to 10:30, you're invited to join us at the 16th Annual Town Meeting and Business Partner of the Year Breakfast. For the 2nd year in a row, we will honor 2 Student Interns of the Year in addition to our Business Partner of the Year. For more information about any of our events, stop by the Career Resource Center in room 53 of Bollinger Hall or email careerservices@centralpenn.edu.
What's another good thing about our campus, Professor Miller? The Counseling Center provides free and confidential mental health and substance abuse services to all currently enrolled students at the Somerdale and Lancaster campuses. Online students living in PA are also eligible for a telehealth service if physically coming to either campus is not an option. Contact the Counseling Center at 717-728-2416 or cpccounselor@centralpenn.edu to learn more and schedule your first appointment.
Boyer steps in, walked in the first, struck out in the third, and scored on that walk in the first. Bases clear, 3 runs in, nobody out here in the top of the 5th. So Graham, a big shot to the gap and for the double, and then Rosario puts it over the monster out there. And Menendez on the mound.
The shot that Rosario hit, Professor Miller, what we call in baseball terms a no-doubter.
There was no doubt about that one. It's kind of tough to get a read on the ball sometimes with that with the monster, because you can see that it's hit far. Is it hit high enough? We've seen a few hit, you know, probably would have been home runs in other stadiums, the low line drive types, and don't make it off. I've seen a couple even this year hit off the big red flight path sign on the top of the monster. High for Boyer. Yeah, I'm looking forward. I always look forward to our Week 10 meetings, Parker, for the Nightly News, because I get a chance to get you guys some lunch, and we get to look back at how the term has gone, and we're going to take a look at our publication coming up here, and look forward to the gala that we have coming up next weekend. That's probably going to be the big thing we talk about. And then, of course, the our A League of Their Own. I want to make sure we have that staffed. And I also want to reach out to the baseball team and see if we can get them to come sign a couple of autographs for the kids.
I think that would be a great initiative for the athletic program here at Central Penn.
Boyer hit by the pitch there. That was an odd sequence. Which brings up Ryan Stevens. 0 for 1 on the day. Does have a steal after a walk. Excuse me, he singled in the first, moved to second on a balk, struck out in the fourth, did Stevens. That's high.
Ooh.
Parker, tell us a little bit more about the hide and seek. Were you pleased with the number of people? There were at least, I'd say, close to 40 people there yesterday when I was there.
I would definitely say, based off from comparison from Thursday to Saturday, I think Saturday was our biggest crowd.
Really?
But Thursday and Friday seems like they were both consistent nights. We had around 30 audience members Friday and Saturday. Thursday and Friday. But Saturday was definitely, I think, our bigger day, because when I talked to professors and students on campus, that's when they said a lot of them were coming.
Boyer, the steal there. No throw from the catcher. Stevens now with a runner in scoring position. That's way outside, but did come up with it. But another walk. So 5 Central Penn Knights have been to the plate and 0 have been retired. This will actually be Brian Rodriguez's one of his first at-bats of the season, often pinch runs. And Parker, one thing I did want to, remind everybody, if pitchers and catchers both hit, they can be pinch run for by a player off of the bench, so they're not out there. And there's a bunt. Really trying to use that speed of Rodriguez.
I think that's a good tactic to take. Use the speed to your advantage. You try to get the bases loaded.
So runners on first and second, no one out. 3 runs in here in the 5th. We're again top of the 5th here, even though this is a Knights home game, because this was rescheduled from an away game for Valley Forge.
Oh.
Almost hit him in the head. And actually, Rodriguez was already hit in the head this season in one of our first couple of games.
It's always scary when a batter gets hit in the head or when a...
So Valley Forge, this is the only time we play them this season, so we won't have the opportunity to go to Valley Forge at this point. So this coming up Wednesday, the March 11th Williamson trade will be at 4 and 6. And then we'll be back here on March the 28th, and I'll be back here with you, Parker, on that day.
I'm looking forward to that game, Professor Miller. Me, you, and Brian Christiana.
And that will actually be Brian's last official experience with the Nightly News as a student. He will now then transition to potentially a staff position that he had been talking about with Residence Life, which he's looking forward to. And, of course, he works at iHeartRadio and Pennsylvania Cable Network. High there.
Another one.
Rodriguez walks. And the bases are loaded for 58 Hunter Finke. And outside there to Finke.
Still a gorgeous day as we're going down into the nightfall for today's game, Professor Miller. Still very sunny out. I will say, Professor Miller, I'm always looking for a baseball game under the lights. I always think that's the best time to watch a game.
I'm pretty sure we're going to get to that point. Still only in the top of the 5th.
There's a strike.
And Finke steps in. I think Finke is still looking for his first hit on the season.
A little bit of words from the Knights dugout saying to Finke, let it hit you, don't hurt. And Finke chuckled.
Finke is 0 for 4 on the season.
And he walks in.
And will take the walk, and that's going to walk in a run, so that'll be an RBI for Finke. Boyer scores 3 consecutive walks and a hit by pitch here from the new pitcher Menendez after Rack left the game.
That brings Christian to the plate.
And Fulp has a golden opportunity here with the bases loaded and no one out. 4 runs across here this inning. And that's outside. Menendez is having significant problems finding the plate here.
Absolutely. But that works in favor for the Knights.
Big curveball gets the call there. And Fulp runs the count to 1-1. 1-2, my mistake. 2 strikes here on Fulp. And Fulp, that's going to get through. And
safe.
Not even close at first, so a single and an RBI for Christian Fulp. And that is 5 runs in this inning. It all started back with Gonzalez's single, and he's about to come up and bat around here. A double from Connor Graham and an RBI. A 2-run home run from Chris Rosario. Boyer hit by the pitch. 3 consecutive walks. And Christian Fulp with that single and RBI. So 5 runs in for the Knights here in the top of the 5th. Dominguez to the plate. He had a single and 2 RBIs, did get thrown out at second to end the last inning, the 4th. But there's still no one out here, Parker.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to really open up this game for the Knights with a base hit here.
And there's a shot down the third baseline, but foul. Coach Stern makes a nice play there. Gonzalez on deck, who started the inning with a single and made a nice play, scoring on that Connor Graham double from first. And there's a shot.
Just foul.
Almost hits Rodriguez, but he gets out of the way. Just foul. So Dominguez hit the ball really hard twice in a row.
That could have possibly bring home 2 runs if that stayed fair, Professor Miller.
I'd say with Fulp on first, you got a shot to score everyone. But Dominguez 1 for 2 on the day, reached base twice. And the curveball is outside.
Listen, the Central Penn batter is very patient this half inning.
Full count to Dominguez. And he's going to walk him. And that will bring in Rodriguez. That'll move Finke over to third, Fulp to second. And that brings up Gonzalez. So basically 9 batters have now, this is the 10th batter to the plate here. With no one out and the bases loaded. Oh. And there's a shot.
Oh, that's
just out of the reach of the third baseman. That will score 1. No sense to risk getting thrown out with the bases loaded here. But this does not look good for Valley Forge because that's 10 consecutive batters reach base. Gonzalez with the single and the RBI. 6 runs across. That makes it 11-3. Central Penn with Connor Graham and Rosario up next.
Looks like the umpires are meeting about something.
Always important to make a note that the Biller Family Foundation is formed with the intentions of helping to empower youth through sustainable sports funding. Be sure to help the cause and make a positive impact of our young leaders of tomorrow and the charitable causes they hold dear. For more information, go to the Biller Family Foundation website at the-bff.com for more details. All right, Connor Graham steps in. Base is loaded, no one out. And there's a shot to the gap. And that's going to bring home Dominguez as well. Fulp and Dominguez both score on the single from Connor Graham. Now 8 runs across. That makes it 13-3. In the top of the 5th, still no one out. Rosario earlier this inning. The home run, 2 RBIs that really got things started off. Menendez really struggling out there. You've got Gonzalez at...
Oh, they called another balk.
You've got Gonzalez at third now scoring. Graham moves to second on the balk. 14 runs scored here, 14-3 for the Knights. And there's a deep shot. That's going to go to the gap. And Rosario, and the ball has been dropped. That's going to be an error on the center fielder. So E8 there. Graham over to third. Rosario gets his way to second.
Tell you what, Professor, the Knights are really solving this pitching staff for Valley Forge. It seems like they don't have an answer.
I'm very surprised that this pitcher is still in the game at this point.
Do you think it's a strategy because they have the doubleheader come up after this game? They want to conserve their arms, Professor Miller, as a possibility.
You know, normally I'd say you're probably right, Parker, but they haven't played for over 2 weeks, and their next game's not till next Sunday.
I feel bad for Menendez, though. His ERA is really ringing after all those runs allowed.
Yeah, I'm very interested. I got to tell you, Parker, like, to me, I'm not totally sure what they're thinking here in terms of the pitcher, because again, they don't play again for another week.
But the difference is we're in the press box, Professor. We're not making the coaching decisions. We don't know what's going through Valley Forge's coach's mind about this.
That's very, very true. I would almost guarantee that he wouldn't come back out for the next inning, but again...
Usually when the pitcher gets batted around, he's usually out of here. I'm surprised, like you said, I'm surprised they're leaving him in as well. My bet is because of a decision to have arms for the next game.
Boyer is the 13th person up for the Knights here in the 5th, and there's another walk.
Wow.
And very surprised that Valley Forge has not even motioned to make a change, but it does look like they're stirring right now. And Stern is going to go talk to the ump, and it does look like there is going to be a pitching change. Bases still loaded, still nobody out. 9 runs have come across for the Knights here. Ryan Stevens on, looks like he's on deck, but it looks like Colby Edwards will be pinch hitting. So Edwards, one of the pitchers on the team as well, from Reading, Pennsylvania, went to Reading High School.
As well. It's up my way as well, Professor Miller. And it looks like for Valley Forge, it looks like Zachary Andrews is going to take them. He's exiting.
They haven't even motioned to a pitcher at this point.
Just position changes, you good?
Yep.
So it looks like Zachary Andrews is going to take the mound for Valley Forge. His line score is a 5.60 ERA. His 2 appearances. Pitched 5 innings. On 10 runs, 4 of them earned, 7 walks, and 3 strikeouts.
So they have got to find somebody to get them out of this jam. 13 Knights have come to the plate.
As we're in a timeout, it's good to recognize that for the 2020-2021 academic year, Central Penn College is offering free housing to new students, both freshmen and transfer students who attend full-time and choose to live on campus. For more information, go to centralpenn.edu/free housing. I will say, Professor Miller, I think that is an initiative that's really getting Central Penn out there on the radar with that free housing initiative.
Oh, absolutely.
Our student enrollment is going really up, which is always good to see.
Well, definitely, Parker, from the bottom of our hearts with the nightly news, we're so proud of you and your efforts to hide and seek. Though I would almost guarantee you're kind of relieved that it's over. I'm sure it's a lot of time in addition to what you're already doing. So I'm sure you're proud of how it went, and you should be. But at the same time, I'm sure that you're happy that it's over.
I couldn't agree with any more with that statement, Professor Miller. Put in 100 hours in total, and now it gives me enough time to focus on the remainder of my assignments. I have to do 2 research papers to finish out this term. So since the show over now, I can finally focus on that.
And looking forward to what the theater has coming up again with the CPC film series next term, as well as some other pretty cool things you have coming up here. Next term is, I don't want to misquote it, but it's some type of comedy review.
Yes. If you want more information on that, you could contact the theater director, Janet Bixler, at janetbixler@centralpenn.edu.
So Colby Edwards here is the pinch hitter. And again, 10 runs in. It's 15-3 Knights. And for Menendez, without a doubt, a day that he will probably never forget, allowed 7 earned runs. And got no one out, so he's got the old INF ERA for today.
Is it weird, Professor Miller, that it felt like it was more than 7 runs when he was
Well,
on?
Rack allowed the, at the top of the 5th, the single, the double, and the
another
home run.
batter, another Knight walked this inning.
And that brings it to 11 runs in this inning. And still no one out.
Is there a chance that there might be a double bat around, Professor Miller, the way that the rate's going right now?
I would certainly think that that's possible.
And I will be honest, of all the years of watching baseball, I have never, ever seen that.
I have not either. And I'll tell you, this is our 3rd year doing Central Penn Knights baseball. I don't ever recall that happening in any game I've ever called.
This brings Rodriguez to the plate. He was walked his last at-bat.
Well, I gotta say, their pitching has not been their strong suit, losing at their first 2 games 22-6 and 22-5, including also losing a game to Penn State Hazleton 9-6.
And according to my stats here, Professor Miller, their average ERA is 11.29. But after today's outing, I think it's going to go really up high, especially the last pitching outing by Menendez, giving up 7 earned on no outs. And not getting an out, like you said, the INF, which is a crucial part to the pitcher's ERA if you get registered of that.
That's going to blow up your ERA big time.
Oh!
Rodriguez nearly hit there. This is not looking good for Valley Forge at all.
3-2's the count.
Just got a piece of that one. Did Rodriguez.
Rodriguez swung at ball 4 there, Professor Miller. And that would have put another man on base and walked on the run.
11 runs in here in the top of the 5th for this rescheduled game. And that hits Rodriguez. An interesting way to get an RBI, but I'm sure he will take it. That scores Rosario. Moves Boyer to third, Edwards to second. And that's 12 runs in here.
It brings Hunter Finke to the plate.
This is definitely an interesting challenge for those of you scoring at home, that's for sure.
A very interesting inning. Oh, hit him in the yellow, hit by a pitch again.
Two consecutive hit by pitch here.
That brings Boyer in.
Boyer will score. Edwards to third. Rodriguez to second. And Finke reaches base twice this inning now.
That brings Fulp to the plate.
And Christian had an RBI here, so RBI single. And he's looking for some more RBIs. He wants to pad that stat line. And Dominguez has a chance to come up for the second time. And when we get to Gonzalez, that would be his third at bat of the inning.
Oh my. Never ever seen that in baseball. And
Fulp lines out and does finally, Valley Forge gets an out with the pop out to third, and the runners do not advance. Dominguez walked and scored earlier this inning. I may have to go to the third column of my score sheet here unless Dominguez grounds into a double play. So Dominguez one for two, has reached base on a walk and an error and scored twice. So 2 runs scored for Dominguez. Our shortstop that turned a crucial double play earlier in the game. And it is... There's a shot to right. That's going to be out of play.
I think the Knights, after being walked and hit by pitches, are eager to just get a base hit now.
Parker, this will blow your mind. It is 18-3.
I remember just literally a couple innings ago, Professor, it was like 5-3, and then just from that, it just expanded.
Inside, it just looks like their pitching staff, and you do make a really good point about this being a doubleheader. They are really struggling getting outs here. And I don't care how good your offense is, if you can't get anybody out, you're not going to win.
Another walk.
And a walk.
Well, Professor Miller, we're seeing what we thought we wouldn't never see. A batting around for the 3rd time.
So Edwards will score. So the RBI from Dominguez sends Rodriguez to third. For the 3rd time this inning, this will be Gonzalez. Just missed. So 2 singles and an RBI and 2 runs scored since he subbed into the game for his first at-bats as a Central Penn Knight. And I don't think if you would have told Gonzalez that he would bat 3 times in his first inning, I think he'd probably be pretty surprised. Umpires are meeting again. We've got Gonzalez at the plate for the 3rd time here in the 5th. And Connor Graham will be on deck. He's doubled and singled here. He's got 3 RBI and 2 runs in just this inning alone. Big strike there. And there's a shot foul. Gonzalez transfer here. That's why he's just now joining the team. He'll be starting school here in our next term. And there is a deep shot. But that is also foul. I'll tell you, Gonzalez has gotten some excellent swings on the ball here in this inning.
Yes, he is. I think, like I said, Professor, I think the Knights are eager to finally get hit because, like, all the walks this inning alone. But we did have that one home run from Rosario.
And there's another foul.
And we got Rosario probably going to get another at-bat depending on how this at-bat from Gonzalez goes, followed by Connor Graham.
How about 6 walks and 3 hit by pitch for the Knights in this inning alone? 9 walks between the walks and the hit by pitch for Valley Forge.
I never even heard of that in a baseball game, Professor.
And that one's popped straight up.
And right behind us, or right next to us, a matter of fact.
So there's another strike.
I hope in the Knights dugout, if Thorpe's coming out for another inning of the pitch, I hope make sure he's stretching so he doesn't get his arm cold, because this is a really long inning. This inning had to be over a half hour already.
Oh, at least.
I'm banking almost over 45 minutes.
I'm sure we're probably going to get there at this point with still Parker, only 1 out.
Does that mean probably our next game probably won't be start till like 8 o'clock at night?
Well, we're going to stick it out. And there is a shot, but looks like it's going to be right at the center fielder. Tagging at third
caught it.
Is Rodriguez, and he'll score easily. So Gonzalez with another RBI here.
And it looks like Freddie Barr's coming on the on-deck circle.
And Freddie will pinch hit for Rosario, it looks like, if Connor Graham is retired, or is not retired, excuse me. So first and second, 2 outs, 14 runs in, 19-3. Central Penn. Connor Graham, as you can listen on our last podcast that we had with Coach Stern, Connor Graham, and Christian Fulp, had the opportunity to represent the United States in international competition.
He should be proud of himself. Connor Graham is one talented athlete as well as a very good student at Central Penn. Me and him actually have a couple classes together in the accounting program.
He's getting ready to graduate himself.
Yes, he is.
Another ball for Graham. And this has just been a big-time struggle for Zach Andrews.
Yes, it is. Him and Menendez both had struggling outings.
I'm sure that's one Connor would have liked to have sent to the moon.
Absolutely. That's one of those, and based from his facial expression, he was like, oh.
And Graham, foul ball. They're just going after Stern down there on the third baseline.
Looks like people are starting to get cold. The blankets are starting to be brought out as the nightfall is approaching.
Fortunately, we are in the booth here and haven't had a whole lot of issue with...
But it's good that we have the fans here sticking it out with us, Professor Miller. Supporting the Central Penn Knights.
And that ball gets away, but no, Finke's
Finke
going to
going
move to third on the passed ball.
As Dominguez still stays at first.
I would have looked for him to steal almost immediately.
I was thinking he was going to run since Finke went. I guess maybe he... So Connor Graham, and he swings and a miss. So that ends the fifth after a monstrous inning by the Knights. As I could see, it looks like Hayden Fox is going to be coming into the game.
I think that's interesting. I actually thought that would be somebody who Stern might look to in Game 2. I believe they're talking about...
It looks like Paletti's coming back out to catch, too.
Looks like Thorpe is going to come out and Fox will be entering the game. And maybe that does mean that...
Yep, that brings Freddie Bars coming into the game at first base. Looks like Hayden Fox.
I do think the substitution rules are very interesting in terms of people being able to pinch run without having to substitute them. I'm interested if Paletti's just warming him up here while Finke gets his equipment on.
That could be also yeah, because I don't see any knee pads on him.
Yeah, Finke, here comes Finke.
Good observation there.
I come up with one every now and then, Parker. 19